started.
All right, so we're here with a standalone solar system built into a trailer. What we have up above me is actually two arrays or two sets of solar modules. They're two string sets with 6 modules each, and they're mounted on top of each other like that. And this system is designed, unfortunately we can't do it today, it's a little chilly, but it uses hydraulics to tilt itself up and then slide itself down like that so that they can be oriented towards the sun, which if we were to run it today would be the wrong way. The sun's that way, but that's okay. But what I really want to show you today is just kind of how that system would work as a standalone system. So come on inside with me and we'll take a look at the system. All right, so here we are inside. So remember we had those 2 strings up on the roof. So the DC, right, the high voltage DC is coming down inside this armored cable. In the armored cable, it's going to float along where it enters into our DC photovoltaic disconnect. Now, a couple options. Often you can have this act as a DC combiner as well. In this case, we don't. We're running that in our E panel, which we'll talk about later. But what we can see here when we open it up, these are our DC disconnects. So we have 10 amp circuit breakers on all those, and a little bit of splicing going on. But that's our DC disconnects. So then what we have is our DC is going in. Oops. That's okay. From there, our DC goes through a little bit of a splice box here where we have our charge controller, which is charging our 2 battery banks. We also hit into this, what is called an E panel. So this has a inverter built right into it. And all of our splices are actually taking place in there. So our AC to DC splices. Now this inverter is capable of producing its own sine wave, right? So we are not a grid tied system. So all the DC comes in, splices take place in there. It inverts the power into AC, which it will eventually also draw from the battery. So all the DC splice points are coming in here. And at the end of the video, I'll kind of show the wiring diagram for this and maybe talk about that a little bit. So all that happens. So what we see is this, we see this big conduit going down into our battery bank here. And when we look inside the battery bank, this is a very robust system, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 batteries in series, which is in parallel with the 8 in series over here. So these are 6 volts each. 8 in series would give us our 48 volts. 8 times 6, 48, sounds about right. So yeah, we can see these big cables, right? Heavy duty 2-aught cables as required by code connecting to the batteries. We've also got that CT here just for a little bit of monitoring. So pretty expensive, pretty good batteries, but they give us a really good system. A little bit of a monitoring system here telling us what's happening, right? So when we turn our charger on and our inverter on, we can run the charger and the inverter, and we can have AC power. So here we're powering some lights, also the option to run a TV or some type of display center. And then there's a couple receptacles in here as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.